If you grew up in the Midwest, you've heard that crisp engine bark in the farmyard before sunrise. Frost on the grass, coffee on the porch, work waiting. Some utility tractors never needed flash. They just start, pull, and keep going. Today, we're counting down 10 classic utility tractors trusted for everyday chores. Mowing, hauling wagons, cleaning pens, and running a baler. And the number one pick might be the true workhorse many farms relied on for decades. Number 10, the Farmall 300. This tractor showed up at a turning point on Midwest farms. A lot of families were ready to move on from horses, and from older machines that were getting tired and harder to keep going. The Farmall 300 was the kind of just-right tractor, one you could put to work without making a big production out of it. It carried that Farmall spirit, compact, straightforward, and built for the jobs that never stop. Think hauling hay racks, pulling light tillage, dragging a small wagon, or running a simple piece of equipment day after day. What made the 300 so good for everyday chores was how familiar it felt. You climbed on, hit the starter, and got right to it. Because for chore work, you don't want a tractor that fights you. You want something that turns easy, slips in and out of tight spots by the barn, and handles small jobs with steady confidence. That's where the Farmall 300 fit. It wasn't trying to be the biggest tractor on the road. It was trying to be the one that's always ready, when the job is just one more thing before supper. And that's why people still remember it. The Farmall 300 stands for that transition era, when the family farm started leaning on one dependable utility tractor to keep the daily rhythm moving. Not flashy, not fancy, just honest work, done the same way every morning. Now, if you're thinking chore tractor, you can't ignore the familiar blue name coming next, because number 9 feels even closer to home for a lot of Midwest farmers. Number 9, the Ford 600 series. The Ford 600 came along right when Ford was becoming a go-to choice on the family farm. Practical, easy to find, and ready to do a little of everything. On a lot of Midwest places, you didn't see it sitting pretty. You saw it parked by the barn, hooked to a wagon, or idling on a dirt lane while someone opened a gate. It was built for the work that happens between the big jobs, the chores that keep the place running every single day. What made the 600 series so strong for everyday chores was simple versatility. One day, it's mowing the pasture. The next day, it's pulling a small wagon of feed, or dragging a blade after a snow. And because it was usually just the right size, it fit where chore tractors have to live. Tight yards, narrow barn doors, crowded lots. It wasn't too big to handle, and it wasn't so light that it felt flimsy. You could steer it with confidence, back it into place, and get back to work without thinking twice. For viewers over 55, the words Ford 600 can bring back a whole scene. Early morning air, a chain clinking on a drawbar, a dog circling the tires, and that steady engine note, the kind that tells you the tractor is ready before you are. The 600 wasn't a show tractor. It was a working man's tractor, blue collar in the best sense. It didn't try to impress you. It just showed up again and again. But if the Ford 600 feels like an old friend, number 8 steps in with a different kind of confidence. More weight, a more sure-footed feel. And that's where the Case story starts to turn up the power. Number 8, the Case 430. By the time the 1960s rolled in, chores weren't just light pulling anymore. Farms were doing more often, and more months out of the year. So you needed a utility tractor that could handle steady work, feeding cattle in the cold, hauling loads in muddy spring yards, and helping with small haying jobs when summer hit. That's where the Case 430 fit in. What makes the Case 430 such a good everyday chore tractor is the feel of it. A good chore tractor should start reliably, run smooth, and pull without acting like it's struggling. And the 430 is remembered for feeling solid and sure-footed, like it has weight where it counts. That matters when you're pulling a loaded wagon, moving round bales, or dragging a piece of equipment across uneven ground. It also matters when the weather turns rough, because in real farm life, chores don't wait for a sunny day. A tractor that stays steady in bad conditions earns its place fast, And that's exactly why people still talk about the Case 430 with quiet respect. It's the kind of tractor nobody brags about at the coffee shop, but plenty of folks will tell you. That thing just kept running. Not flashy, not fussy, just dependable, week after week, season after season. Now, when you start thinking about dependable classics that just keep running, there's another color that shows up in a lot of Midwest memories. Number 7 wears orange too, but it's a different kind of smart, handy chore tractor, one that surprised a lot of farms. Number 7, the Allis-Chalmers D15. The Allis-Chalmers D15 was built for farms that needed a utility tractor that felt handy and natural, something you could use in the field, but also live with every day around the place. In the Midwest, Allis-Chalmers has a reputation for hard workers, and the D15 fits that reputation. It was made for the real rhythm of a farm. Steady chores, quick jobs, and those long days when you don't have time to wrestle with equipment. What makes the D15 so good for everyday chores is how nimble it feels. Because a lot of farm work is a little bit of everything. Mow the pasture, pull a hay rack, drag a light harrow, haul feed out to the lot, then back up, turn around, squeeze between buildings, and do it again. That's where the D15 shines. It's the kind of tractor that turns easy, handles tight spaces well, and doesn't wear you out. And when you're doing chores, comfort isn't about luxury. It's about a tractor that moves the way you need it to move, without a fight. That's why people still remember the D15 with a warm kind of respect. For many smaller farms, it was a dependable partner, big enough to be useful, small enough to be practical, and simple enough to keep going year after year. It wasn't a tractor you only brought out for special work. It was the tractor you trusted for the jobs that happen every single day. Now, if you think this list is only about American iron, number may 6 surprise you, because it's a British name that proved itself on farms. Number 6, the David Brown 880. The David Brown 880 came in as a different kind of choice. On many Midwest farms, the names on the hood were usually American, red, blue, green. But every now and then, a farm would bring home something a little unusual. The 880 had that European engineering feel, compact, practical, and built to work efficiently. And chores are really about hours, not highlights. Most farm work isn't one big pull. It's starting up again and again, doing small jobs all day long, feeding, hauling, mowing, and moving things around the yard. That's where the David Brown 880 earned respect. People often remember it for working steady and being economical around the farmstead, out in the pasture, or on light haying jobs. It could run without feeling wasteful. The reason the 880 is still remembered is simple. It stood out from the crowd and then proved itself. It was the kind of tractor you might not see on every road. But the owners who had one usually had a story, and it often started with, "That tractor surprised me." It's a reminder that classic utility doesn't always mean the most common name. Sometimes it means the machine that quietly did the job, year after year. Now, from here on out, we step into what a lot of Midwest farmers would call the grown-up utility class. Tractors that feel more powerful, more refined, and ready for heavier daily work. And it starts with a familiar green and yellow name. Number 5 is a John Deere that many farms trusted as a true daily driver. Number 5, the John Deere 2020. By the late 1960s, a lot of Midwest farms wanted something more than a small yard tractor. But they didn't need a big row crop giant either. They needed a true utility machine, one that could run PTO work, handle a loader, and still feel comfortable doing chores all week long. That's where the John Deere 2020 fit. What makes the 2020 such a solid chore tractor is how naturally it slips into daily farm life. With chores, you don't want extra fuss. You want to climb on, start it, do the job, and move on to the next thing. The 2020 tends to feel just right. Stable, sure, and easy to trust. It's the kind of tractor that can pull a mower, run a rake, haul a wagon, or spend time in the feedlot without feeling out of place. The 2020 also earns points for being the kind of machine you can live with. You know the sound it makes when it's happy. You know the feel of the controls. And you know exactly how it backs into a wagon tongue. without needing a second try. That familiar confidence is what chore tractors are all about. And the 2020 delivers it in a very Deere way. Steady, practical, and built to last. That's why it's still remembered as a true utility Deere. Not the flashiest model, not the biggest horsepower, but a tractor that fit real farms and real work. Now, if you want that same everyday practicality with a different flavor, something that feels especially at home in Midwest livestock country, stay with me. Number 4 is a red tractor, with a reputation for tough, honest chore work. Number 4, the International Harvester 454. By the early 1970s, many farms needed a utility tractor that could keep up with a faster pace. Haying was getting more organized. Livestock work stayed busy year-round, and the daily routine around the farmstead demanded a tractor that could do real work without drama. That's the world the IH-454 was built for. And chores don't take days off. Feeding cattle on a cold morning, cleaning pens when it's muddy, hauling a wagon, dragging a small blade, moving hay, pulling a rake, running PTO jobs, then doing it all again tomorrow. The IH-454 fits that kind of life because it's built with a durable, work-first attitude. It feels like a tractor made for livestock country, where the yard is dusty in summer, sloppy in spring, and rough on equipment all year long. In those conditions, you learn fast what holds up and what doesn't. The 454 also hits a sweet spot for many family farms. It's strong enough to do meaningful work, but still compact enough to feel at home around buildings, gates, and tight corners. The IH-454 is remembered as a just-right utility, capable, practical, and honest. And that's why it still has a place in conversations today. It represents a time when a single utility tractor could carry a big share of the daily workload, especially on mixed farms that did a little of everything. Now we're stepping into the top 3. The tractors many folks would call the best all-around chore machines of their era. Number 3, the Massey Ferguson 175. The Massey Ferguson 175 represents what a lot of farmers truly wanted in a utility tractor. Something practical, capable, and worth the money. On many Midwest farms, Massey was known for strong value. Tractors that worked hard without asking for attention. And the 175 fit right into that role. It was a solid choice for haying, pulling mid-size equipment, and handling the steady jobs that keep a farm moving. For everyday chores, the MF 175 shines because it feels balanced. It has enough power to do real work, but it doesn't feel oversized for the yard. That matters when you're bouncing between jobs. Pulling a small baler, running a mower conditioner on lighter hay, hauling wagons, or doing moderate loader work. It can work a full day in the field, then come back to the barn lot, and keep going without feeling clumsy. And there's another thing owners appreciate, especially the older generation. The MF 175 tends to feel dependable and low drama. A tractor that makes you feel calm, not nervous. That kind of confidence is hard to measure on paper, but farmers know it when they feel it. That's why the Massey Ferguson 175 is still remembered as a true value workhorse. Strong enough to be useful, simple enough to live a long life, and practical enough to earn its keep on a real family farm. Now, if you like a tractor that's not only capable, but also has a little personality in the way it works, Oliver has a standout waiting next. Number 2, the Oliver 1655. The Oliver 1655 came along at a time when utility tractors were getting more capable. Farms needed machines that could handle heavier daily work. More haying, more feedlot chores, more hours on the clock. This was the Oliver and early White era, when the goal was clear: build a tractor that could do serious work, but still fit into the everyday rhythm of a family farm. As a chore tractor, the 1655 sits right in the sweet spot. It has enough muscle to handle haying jobs with confidence, and enough practicality to live around the yard. It's not so big that it feels out of place near barns and gates, but it's not so small that it gets pushed around when the load gets heavy. And when you hook to a wagon or a piece of equipment, it has that solid, satisfying pull, the kind that makes a tractor feel like a partner instead of a tool. For everyday chores, that matters. For Midwest viewers, Oliver also brings back a certain kind of farm memory. Honest haying seasons. Long afternoons moving bales and feed. A tractor that might not be the most common on the road, but always got respect from the people who knew what it could do. The 1655 fits that picture. Strong enough for real work, practical enough for daily chores, and comfortable to live with. That's why it's still remembered today. A tractor with its own feel, its own identity, and a following that never really went away. And now, we've reached number 1, the tractor on this list that can be called a true daily driver. Number 1, the John Deere 2440. By the late 1970s, a utility tractor had to be more than good enough. Farms were putting on more hours, running more PTO equipment, and asking one tractor to cover more jobs in more seasons. That's where the John Deere 2440 earned its place. It was built as a practical upgrade for real farms. Solid power, strong versatility, and a design meant to live on the job every day. What makes the 2440 such a great chore tractor is how many roles it can fill without feeling out of place. It's the kind of machine you can use for mowing and raking, hauling wagons, and handling haying work with confidence. It can spend time on loader chores, moving feed, cleaning lots, stacking, carrying, without feeling too light or too busy. And depending on how it was set up, it could even handle winter work, pushing snow and keeping lanes open when the weather turned mean. That's the sweet spot for a true everyday utility. A big row crop tractor can do a lot, but it can be more than you need for chores. A small tractor can be handy, but it can run out of breath when the load gets serious. The 2440 sits in the middle, right where many Midwest farms live, and that's why it often ends up doing the most work. And it just keeps going. That's also why it's still remembered with real respect. The 2440 fits the Midwest mindset. No bragging, no show, just a machine that earns its keep. And for this list, classic utility tractors for everyday farm chores. That's exactly what a number 1 should be. So that's our countdown. 10 classic utility tractors that never needed a spotlight. Just an honest day of work on the farm. If you're from the Midwest, there's a good chance you've driven one like these. Or maybe you still have one tucked in the barn, waiting for mowing season or the first snow. Now it's your turn. Which tractor has been the most dependable chore partner in your life? Are you a Deere, IH, Ford, Massey, or Oliver person? Or is there an underrated model more folks should be talking about? Leave a comment with the tractor and the daily job you use it for. I read every one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.